Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today will be a little different. I'm actually working digitally, and I decided that I'll be showing you a couple of pieces that I had planned for Inktober and why I won't be doing anymore. As excited as I was to join in the fun, I decided to say no to Inktober this year. After much back and forth and scheduling of sketches and posts and videos, I realized that I'm trying to force Inktober into a schedule that just doesn't have the room for it. And the more I stressed about building the perfect plan, the less I actually cared to participate. Now, just fair warning, after reviewing and editing this dialogue, I realized it gets a little rambly and a little feelsy, so if you'd rather just watch me sketch and listen to some of your own tunes, I would not blame you for it. But let's get into it. So when I say no Inktober, what I really mean is I won't be doing all 31 days. I'll probably pop in here and there and do a few more, and I'll actually be continuing with digital throughout the rest of the year, so that way I can really start to get a handle of it. Funnily enough, as a gift to myself specifically for Inktober, I got myself a new iPad mini with the Procreate app for drawing and an Apple Pencil to round out my little indulgence. And seriously, you guys, I am in love! The Procreate app is super intuitive and easy to use, and pairing it with my paper-like screen protector makes it feel like I'm just drawing naturally in a sketchbook. Now, while playing around and practicing, I got this great idea for what I'm calling Digitober, for which I'd create digital works using limited color palettes for each day of the month. Doing it this way meant I could also come up with an overall theme, or just use it in conjunction with the official Inktober prompt list or someone else's prompt list. So like I said, I'll probably still be posting a handful of these to IG, #Inktober, and I'm sure that some art Nazi out there is gonna have words for me, but whatevs. I guess I'm really just hoping that this new digital medium will give me a little bit more freedom and flexibility, especially with all the upcoming changes that are gonna happen. As some of you may have gathered from my previous videos, Vince and I have actually been looking for a new city to lay some roots and start a family. Chicago is filled with memories and loved ones, but after 32 years of depressing winters, we think it's as good a time as any to do some exploring. For the time being, our sights are set on Phoenix, with the hope that eventually we'll make it to San Diego. But who knows, we might get there and decide to keep looking. It's all about the journey and seeing what fits along the way. So, because of my constant struggles with anxiety and depression, I've always been apprehensive about bringing kids into the mix. For the longest time, I wasn't sure if it was fair of me to have a child that might inherit those issues, and even if they didn't, could I be a good mother? How could I create a loving, happy, healthy home when there are days when just waking up brings me to tears? Sharing this with anyone used to feel terrifying and embarrassing, but Vince reminded me that 1, it's nothing to be ashamed of, and 2, I'm not the only one responsible for building a happy, healthy home. That we're a team, and kids or not, we can figure anything out together. Knowing I have a real partner who accepts all the good and bad in me means more than I have words to say. So with that in mind, I set my sights on figuring out my triggers. What are the things that cause my anxiety and eventual downward spiral into depression? And once I'm down there, how do I combat those feelings? Something about me that most probably don't know is that I love making lists. I've found that when it feels like I have 1,000,001 things to do, writing them all down and getting them out of my head really helps me to prioritize. In the midst of decluttering and packing, I can't even tell you how many notebooks I've found filled with writing and layouts and lists, from groceries to household cleaning to art goals to life goals. I love having a mental plan and writing things down and checking things off. But more often than not, the check marks stop about halfway through. I'll have put more things on any given list than I can actually handle. As I run out of time and I notice there are tasks that just can't get done, my anxiety begins to flare till I'm out of time, and that's where the depression creeps in. I have a tendency to make all these plans and goals for myself, but when I can't achieve them perfectly or in what seems to me to be the most timely fashion, I sink deep into self-loathing. Sorry about the feels. With time and reflection, I've realized that I can stop this before it starts by not putting so much unnecessary pressure on myself. For example, packing up 32 years of life for a cross-country move, making time to say goodbye to friends and family before the cold weather turns me into a sad hermit, managing a boutique while trying to build my own business, and oh yeah, let's just throw a 31-day art challenge on there for good measure. I'm beginning to realize, or rather accept, that not all things can make the list. Unfortunately, I'm not always so forward-thinking, so when I've missed the opportunity for prevention and I'm already down, I try to remember to recognize my feelings, accept them, do my best to calm myself, and then get up and do something physical. I put on some soothing music and just breathe and stretch till I can work up the energy for a few light exercises. If it's really bad, I wait for Vince to get home and we go for a walk. He holds my hand and guides me so I don't have to think about where I'm going or why or how I get home. I just have to put one foot in front of the other as he reminds me that this is just a moment in time that will pass. He spends a time practicing dad jokes and talking about how weird and awesome our kids would be. Because now that I've decided I'm strong enough to be what they'd need, he can't wait to be a father. And by the time we're back home, I'm laughing and hopeful for the future. One of the biggest issues that I've run into is that during the winter months, if you're unfamiliar with my city, that's 7 to 8 months for Chicago. It's way too cold for those much needed walks, and the constant lack of sunlight means it takes all of my energy just to get out of bed and not completely implode. This past winter hit me harder than I'm comfortable saying, but I tell anyone who cares to listen so that I don't internalize it. I'd like to believe that it's just a moment that will pass, but every year it returns with a vengeance, and I feel like it's chipping away pieces of me. Again, I'm sorry for the emotional tangent, but I guess what I'm getting at is I used to feel like my anxiety and depression was something I'd always have to suffer through. But I've realized that I have to be proactive to be happy. And whether that means stepping back from something that should be fun like Inktober, or going out in search of some place that could offer a lasting peace of mind, I think it's worth it. I know this video's not like my usual story time style videos, and it's definitely not my traditional watercolor, so if you've made it this far and you're still listening, I just want to say thanks. I'm also putting the ゚Tober prompt list that I made for Inktober. Just in case you guys do actually have the time to do all of them, or some of them, whichever, I would love to see what you come up with. And like I said, I'll do what I can when I can. I don't know that I'll be doing more Inktober videos for the month, but maybe I'll do some digital paint this in your style pieces as a way to keep growing my skills. But I've got to get some packing done, so I'm gonna say bye for now. Thanks again, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!